Hello, 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 beautiful unicorns. Yana Kasperczak coming into your live from Ontario of Canada as your certified professional performance and spiritual awakening core energy coach. It has been my soul's purpose to help women, to help you get your shit together so you can break free from the mental prison you find yourself in and build a life, business, and or career that you are obsessed with. So today I wanted to talk about a topic that seems to be a recurrent topic with every single conversation that I have, with every single woman that either joins one of our programs or takes on coaching with me. Let me just silence my phone so you guys don't even hear the vibrations, because sometimes it can get really, really annoying with all the different sounds happening all at once. So the topic for today is healing through failure. Why setbacks are why are they part of the process, of the healing process? Now, failure is one of our biggest fears. And the reason why failure feels like it's the biggest fear, because we feel like it's the end. It's the end of us, that we're going to die if someone finds out that we failed, that we messed up. We feel like we're gonna die, that we're gonna feel so much shame or embarrassment or guilt, or feel so stupid that we're gonna die from feeling all of that too much. And it is partially true, and the reason why it's partially true, because it's not you who's actually going to die. It's part of you that we refer to as the ego. The ego that we have, each and every one of us has an ego, and it does not want to look like a failure, look like an idiot, look like someone who just doesn't know what they're doing or why they're doing it. And it doesn't want to feel embarrassed or found out. This is where it doesn't want to be seen or even assumed or perceived as an imposter. And because it is a really big part of you, it's a big part of each and every one of us, that we feel like we are the ones that's going to die, even though it's part of us, and it's that ego part of us. And you know what actually ends up happening when part of that ego dies? We get humbled. We start to take a step or a few steps back and realize and recognize that there's actually nothing to be scared of. And the only true, real fear that we all have is living our life, and at the end of it, feeling like and recognizing that you have not lived at all. That is the biggest fear, and that is the biggest failure. Not the actual quote unquote failures themselves, but feeling that we have not lived, that we have not been true and authentic throughout our life, throughout our journey, and not doing the things that we actually wanted to do. I like to refer to life as a Sims game. That if this was a Sims game and I was playing it, what would be the best and the most exciting way that I would play this Sims game realistically as well? And then figure that out and play it. Because if life was a game, because in many ways it is. And when it comes to a game, whether it's baseball, whether it's soccer, whether it's hockey, whether it's football, whatever game, right? There must be a loser, there must be a winner. And then many people that are on the losing team, even on the winning team, can feel like a failure, that they have failed, that they contributed to something, and they might feel guilt, shame, or embarrassment, and that their whole team is laughing at them or ridiculing them. And this is how we can feel sometimes as well, with our friends, with our family, even maybe not so much with strangers. Very few of us have an attachment to strangers or expectations, or we care very little what strangers think of us, and yet we do care what strangers think of us as well. Because if we didn't, and if we felt like crap, we wouldn't even bother getting dressed or looking a certain way to be, representing ourselves in public. So I want to remind you that even though failure feels like it is the end, and in many cases it triggers anxiety, failure is not the end. It is actually an essential part of the journey to growth and to healing. It's one of the biggest parts of it. And when you learn how to embrace setbacks as opportunities, for learning, for growing, for evolving, or self-discovery, you will notice that it will allow you to move forward with amazing sense and ability um, of resilience. You will move through everything with resilience, and you won't see failure as failure. If every single human being saw failure as failure, we would not be living in the world that we're living in. We wouldn't even be talking through the screen in this way. We wouldn't even have lights in the house. We wouldn't even have houses, because then the first sign of failure, people would have retreated back into their shell and nothing would have been invented. Failure is actually one of the most important key ingredients to success. However you define success. Because success, and if you don't have a definition for success, this is where I would recommend you pause and you write down, what does success mean to you? Or maybe even write that down every day, because your definition and your understanding and your expectation of success is going to grow and change and evolve alongside you. For some of you right now, in the moment, your definition of success might be having or earning an income that allows you to live a life that you dream of. That's just one part of definition of success. For some of you might be, my definition of success is truly, fully, and finally feeling the forgiveness for myself with everything I have been through in life. Or for some of you, might be also on top of that, is forgiving those who are worthy of my forgiveness, so I can finally feel free and release those burdens. For some of you, the meaning of success might be, I want to truly, fully feel connected to the source and to my soul, and connect with my ancestors, and have an everyday ritual practice that fires me up, that makes me feel connected and whole, and one with the universe. These are just a few examples of what success means to you. For some of you, the success might mean that today, or the definition of success to me means that I am not going to be napping throughout the day, and I'm going to get my anxiety under control so it no longer controls me, and that when it comes back, I know how to deal with it. I know how to work through it. and let it go so it no longer has control of me. So now that you understand a little bit, and you hopefully have taken time to identify what success means to you today, right now, in this moment, and remember that it will continue to change, grow, and evolve with you. Mine at one point was, I just want to be happy, just feeling happy. And that was like that for a minute there. And then the one I was just sharing with you about anxiety, that was one of mine, actually. I just wanted to be in control of my anxiety. And then one day I woke up and I started questioning, when was the last time I felt anxious? Because I don't remember. Because it felt like it's been a long time, even though it was just a day or two prior to that. And then, of course, you start looking for it, and then you find it. You're like, oh, there it is. Now it feels right. Right? Because we get so used to feeling like crap that we don't even realize, we forget what it feels like to feel good and amazing, because it's been a long time. It's been a minute. So healing through failure, why setbacks are part of the process. Now let's talk about why setbacks are actually part of the process for healing and spiritual growth and spiritual awareness, and for literally everything in life. If you want to get somewhere in life, you gotta fail. Because you learn so much from your failures. You don't learn very much from your successes. You do learn a great deal, but from your failures, you learn so much more, and there's a lot more. They're more energetically charged as well. So failure, in other words, failure is a teacher. It's one of the most powerful teachers, because it comes alongside with pain, and sometimes with suffering as well. Suffering is of the mind, pain is of the body. So that's why they say, that's why there's this phrase, quote, which is the truth when we really start digging in and understanding it, is pain is inevitable, but suffering is a choice. And that's where the pain is the body, the suffering is the mind. You can change your mind and your mindset. You can rewrite it. And the body, you can rewrite it as well, but everything is connected to the mind. So in order for you to even, because a lot of the pain that you are experiencing comes from the mind, comes from your previous experiences as well, and from the current experience, depending on what you're going through as well. So failure is a teacher, and failure is not the end. It does not mean that you're defeated. It does not mean you have lost. That means you can try and try and try again. And when things don't go as planned, because often they don't go as planned. My daughter decides to call me now. When they're living their life and going to school, they don't know, or they forget my time slots of what I do when I do. Okay, so when things don't go as planned, as I said, they often don't. And then they often do as well. We feel like a failure. It's almost like you feel a blow that crushes you, that hits you. And this is the moment to pause and really think, what are you being taught? What maybe your definition of success needs to be reevaluated, and you check. Because if you define success on, I will achieve this the first time I try this, that's not really realistic, because the first time we do anything, we're not going to be good at it. The first time I did a live video, I was not good at it. Absolutely not. Not even the 50th time I did it. And part of me still doubts that I am good at it, because there's always room for improvement. And we humans, part of us, we want to settle and be the best at something, but even though we are the best at something, does not mean we can become better and better and better. And that really comes down to, what do you want to become better at? What do you love and enjoy doing? What do you want to master? Even though each and every one of us is multi-talented and we'd love to become master of many things and many talents, we can't. We're not meant to. We are meant to master one, two, or two, usually about a handful of things that we're really, really, really good at. And some of those things you keep more so for yourself. So failure teaches you lessons that success cannot teach you. It reveals what is not working, and it encourages you to pivot, to try something different, to try something new, to get out of your comfort zone. One of the reasons why you might be experiencing fear or fear of failure is because you've spent way too much time in your comfort zone and you're comfortable there and you don't want to step out of there, because also followed by the fear of unknown. And it teaches you to step out of your comfort zone, to adapt, to grow, to evolve, and also reminds you that with each setback, you are offered valuable insights that will shape you and your future, and perhaps even uncover your path and your purpose, because many of you are also searching for your purpose and continue to search for your purpose. Even though, let's say, you found on you're like, yes, this is my purpose, this is what I'm meant to do, there's part of you that continues to dig in deeper, below the surface of, what does that actually mean? Is this really what I want to do? Is this really what I meant to do? And then once you get there, you're like, okay, well, how can I make this purpose even bigger? How, like, for example, with me, how can I help and support more women with the time that I have available throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the rest of my life? How can I help and support more women than I have been thus far? So it's purpose on top of purpose on top of purpose, and yet within the same one, once we start to uncover it. Now, I already talked about resilience, but this is what setbacks do. When we experience a setback, we build resilience, and as we heal, because healing requires strengths, so which means that we build resilience and we are building strength, and we become better. And in many areas, in many cases, what ends up happening is that you uncover something about yourself that you now, before you didn't know, and now you know. And once you know something about yourself, once you build that resilience within you, that strength within you, no one can take that away. Doesn't mean people won't try, but it means that you've been there enough times that now no one can mess with you, that you're tough and you're strong enough in those places where you once felt broken. This is why it's part of the healing process. So you heal and you quote unquote fix yourself in those areas where you feel broken, that no one can ever break you in those ways again. And in many cases, you can actually help others with the things and the places that you once thought that you were broken in. You also get your emotions under control. You build a certain strength when it comes to your emotions, and with your emotions, that even when you're going through tough, challenging times, that you still have them under control. So you're not freaking out. Become more adaptable. is another way of looking at it. Also, when healing through failure, why setbacks are part of the process. When you fail, you are in many ways forced to look within and see what could you have done better or differently. So you reflect on yourself, and you reflect on the opportunities, and you reflect on your growth. Failure often leads to deeper and deeper and deeper self-reflection, where you're confronting yourself with your beliefs, your actions, and your fears. You start to explore those aspects of yourself, and you begin to understand yourself at a much deeper level. But that means you gotta be comfortable sitting in that space and sitting in that darkness sometimes, and tapping within and uncovering what is happening within you, and start to identify what needs to change and what needs to stay. How do you want to change? How do you want to stay the same? What do you want to change in your internal self within you, and what can you change in your external world? And I already talked about failure being a natural part of the process, because success is not linear. As much as we would like it to be, it is not linear. It is not A to B. It's A, B, C, D, A, B, A, B, A, B, C, D, and then until you get to Z, right? It's zigzagging. It's all over the place. You will be going back to the previous version of yourself, to the previous way how you even dealt with things, to learn a little bit more of what you needed to learn there, so you can move forward and get closer to that version of yourself that feels right, that feels good. And you will continue to go through this back and forth, this yo-yoing, through this zigzagging, because life itself is not linear. Time itself is not linear. And setbacks and failures are just part of the natural ebbs and flows of life. It's natural. They're not a reflection of your worth. They're not. And they're, or more like there might be a potential reminder of your potential growth, of the opportunities that you can take on, and the new things that you can approach in life, or do in life, or overcome, or embody. So as an example, it might be maybe being more persistent, maybe be practicing your communication skills and becoming a better communicator. Maybe it's patience, being and becoming more patient, and learning how to, because we don't get to learn any of those things if we're not actually practicing. And practicing means that there's going to be a challenge, there's going to be an opportunity for us to practice that. So if you're working on your patience, it means that there's going to be an opportunity for you to practice being patient. And when you pass that test, there's going to be another test, and another test, and another test. And then there's going to be an exam, where it's going to be one of the hardest opportunities for you, or hardest exams for you, to practice patience and not give in to the old ways of how you would react. Because patience usually means responding, not reacting. Another one is, how many times did Thomas Edison fail creating a light bulb before he actually created? About 1,000 times. And there were people that he was working with that would ask him, how can you keep going and keep going when you have failed 999 times? And his response to that was, I didn't fail 999 times. I found 999 ways that I did not create a light bulb. And it all comes down to perspective of how you look at things, how you perceive them, how you interpret them. And if you see them as opportunities, you will, because like Thomas Edison, throughout these so-called failures, he uncovered and discovered a lot more other things that he wouldn't have any other ways. And similarly, for you in your life, these so-called failures that you went through, these so-called really, really tough and challenging times that you went through, what did you learn from those experiences? Who did you become because of those experiences? And how does that bring value into your life or life of other people around you? Because it does. And when you pause and you think and you see things as what's in this for me and not why did it happen to me? If not you, who would you suggest? Who would you recommend that this happens to? Chances are you wouldn't recommend anyone. You would much rather go through it yourself, because that's what we as empaths, we would rather do. We would rather go through it ourselves and suffer ourselves than cause any kind of pain or suffering to anyone that we care and love about. Even a stranger, we wouldn't want to cause them pain and suffering. That we know that we can handle that, and therefore we were meant to go through what we're meant to go through because there's benefit and value in it for us. And when you start to redefine failure as it's just a stepping stone to you're 1, 2, 3 steps away from success. Next time I'll succeed. Next time I'll succeed. Next time I'll succeed. Next time I'll get it done, or whatever it is, right? Next time, or one more time I'll try. One more time I'll try, and I will get there. And the last thing I want to mention is you learn a lot of compassion and patience when you learn how to deal with failure, how to overcome failure, how to work through failure. And when you heal through failure, when you even make a list of the things that you are scared to fail at or fail in, and you decide, okay, I'm going to go after this one right here, and I'm going to fail until I succeed. And you clearly identify what success means with this particular failure that you're scared of, so that way you actually know when you get there. And you keep going, keep going, keep going, keep chipping away. And then before you know it, you'll see that you got there. You became successful in this thing that you were scared of failing. And then you go and do the next thing on your list, and the next thing, and the next thing on your list. And when you're doing that, you're also practicing self-compassion for yourself. And when you practice self-compassion to yourself, you can become even more compassionate to others. And it helps you to realize that it's okay to have it's okay to not have every single thing figured out, and that growth is a process and you figure things out as you go. We're not meant to know everything before we start. We're not. Part of us thinks or assumes that we need to know everything and have all of our ducks in a row before we begin, but in more cases than not, it's best to just get started, go do it, and then learn from your failures. Fail first, and then you learn everything that you need to learn from that failure, and then do it better next time, and do it better next time, do it better next time. Before you know it, you'll succeed. Otherwise, you might never start. So be kind to yourself during these setbacks, during these times where you're feeling like you're failing, because it fosters your emotional healing. It helps you to heal and allows you to move forward with love, grace, and a shit ton of patience. So that's what I would say on this topic of healing through failure, why setbacks are part of the process. I would love to hear, based on your life experiences, what have you learned about failures and setbacks, and how have they helped you to heal? Otherwise, that is all that I wanted to do and talk about for today. Looking forward to hearing from each and every one of you. Have an amazing the rest of your day. Looking forward to hearing from each and every one of you of what came up, what came through from a past experience, or maybe also what was your biggest takeaway from today's Get Your Shit Together Weekly Life Guidance podcast that I do on Thursdays in this group at 11:45 a.m. Eastern Time-ish. And until we see each other next time, maybe next Thursday at 11:45 a.m. Eastern Time, same place, same time, in this group, Heal the Unicorn: Emotional Healing and Spiritual Growth for Women. Or perhaps we might see each other a little sooner, which will be on Monday for a card reading at 11:45 a.m. in the same place, the same group. And until we see each other next time, have an amazing rest of your day, ladies. Thank you for being on here live with me, and thank you for watching the replay. And hello to all the OGs and all of the new members in the group. We are happy to have you here, and thank you for helping us reach 1,000 members. Until next time.